All right, so today we're going to really dig into this idea of emotional intelligence, but like specifically for leaders.
Yeah.
Not just like, oh, it's good to be emotionally intelligent. Like, how does this actually play out when you're the one, you know, calling the shots?
It's interesting, right? Because it's one of those things where, like, intuitively we all know it's important, right?
Right.
But when you actually break it down, it's like, okay, what does that actually look like in practice?
Totally. And that's what I love about this piece you sent over about building those skills. It wasn't just fluffy stuff. It was like practical steps you can take. And they really hit on something right off the bat that I think is huge,
Yeah.
empathy.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it seems obvious, right? Like, yeah, you should understand your team, but they went deeper than that.
It's not just about understanding, though, right?
Right.
It's like actively trying to see things from their perspective,
I
especially when things get tough,
Yeah.
That's where it's really tested.
Oh, 100%. Because when you're stressed, when deadlines are looming, it's easy to forget that everyone else is feeling the pressure too.
Exactly. And like everyone processes that differently, right?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you think about the leader who can just like take a breath and be like, okay, I understand where you're coming from. Even if they don't agree, that changes the whole dynamic.
It's huge. In fact, they cited the study in the article, teams with empathetic leaders were like 20% more
Yeah.
productive.
Yeah. See,
20%. That's wild.
that's massive. Yeah.
It makes you think about like the best bosses you've ever had, the ones you would follow into, like a burning building, right? I bet they were pretty good at this whole empathy thing.
Oh, for sure.
Which actually, that makes me think about the flip side of that, managing your UWN emotions. Because we've all seen what happens when a leader freaks out.
Oh, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
a bomb goes off.
It's awful. Everyone starts walking on eggshells. The whole project goes sideways. It's like emotional intelligence isn't just about, being nice. It's about creating a stable environment where people can actually do their best work.
Right. And that all comes from the top.
Yeah.
It's like that, what is it, the captain of the ship analogy?
Exactly.
If the captain's panicking, everyone's going overboard,
Oh,
right?
totally. Okay, so how do they recommend we actually like DO that? Because staying calm under pressure is a lot easier said than done. Like I'm thinking about those moments where everything's hitting the fan. What are some actual like tangible things you can do to keep your cool? Did the article get into that at all?
Oh, yeah. They talked about mindfulness, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Even just taking like a few deep breaths before reacting to a situation can make a world of difference.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not about suppressing your emotions altogether,
Hmm.
right? Like you're still human.
Right. You still got to feel your feelings.
Exactly. It's more about like recognizing, okay, I'm feeling really stressed right now, but not letting that stress dictate your actions?
It's like you're in the driver's seat, not the passenger seat. Okay, this is really resonating. Now, this next one really jumped out at me, and maybe it's because it's something I'm constantly working on, building strong relationships, and I don't just mean like being buddies with everyone you work with.
Right. It's got to be genuine.
Exactly. It's about fostering these authentic connections, actually getting to know the people you're leading as like whole people. What makes them tick? What are their strengths? Where do they need support? Did they touch on that?
Oh, yeah. They were really big on the idea of like understanding people's motivations, what drives them, even their aspirations outside of work.
Right, because when you see someone as a person, not just a cog in the machine, that changes how you interact with them, right?
100%. And that builds trust, loyalty, all the stuff that you can't just like demand. It has to be earned.
Exactly. And then when you do have to have those tough conversations, give feedback, it lands so much differently
Right, yeah.
because it's coming from a place of caring, not just, being the boss.
And when you feel like your manager has your back, you're so much more open to hearing like, hey, this is how we can do even better.
Right. It becomes a growth opportunity, not a criticism.
Yeah.
And it all comes back to communication, which, I mean, it seems obvious, but the article really broke it down in a helpful way.
Communication is everything,
Yeah.
right? Like it can make or break a team.
Totally.
And they had these great examples, like instead of just saying, good job, which honestly, how often does that actually land?
It's so meaningless.
Right. But if you say, hey, I really loved how you handled that client call,
Hmm.
especially when you were able to de-escalate that situation and find a solution.
Oh, that's good. You're actually acknowledging the specific thing they did well.
Exactly. It shows you're paying attention. You value their contribution. It's just so much more powerful.
Night and day. Okay, so basically what I'm hearing is emotional intelligence for leaders, it's not just about being nice or understanding, it's about all these things working together, empathy, self-awareness, clear communication, building strong relationships. It's like it all builds on itself.
Totally. And the cool thing is these are all skills you can learn and develop.
That's the hope, right? That we can all get a little bit better at this. Yeah,
Exactly. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes.
I love that. Okay, folks, I don't know about you, but I'm taking some serious notes here. This whole conversation has been eye-opening. It's like, it's not enough to just tell people what to do. You have to create an environment where they feel supported, valued, and empowered.
And when you get that right, that's when the magic happens.
Boom, mic drop. That's a wrap, everyone. Seriously, though, huge thanks to expert speaker's name for this incredible deep dive into emotional intelligence. And to you listening, we'd love to hear from you. How are you putting these ideas into practice? Hit us up on social media. We'll keep the conversation going. Until next time.